Hi, am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes.
Okay. So we're gonna do a quick roll call to make sure everyone's here, and then we'll spare some time to have a praying session because recently we just lost one of our beloved Vice Dean from FTKE, Ibu almarhum Dr. Insinyur Hajah Ratna Yusita Resmi. So we'll have a moment of silence for her, and then afterwards we'll have match-ups, and then we'll have motion release. So that is the order for this morning. So let's conduct the roll call now. FILTL1, Java Christine, are you guys here?
Here.
Okay. Wait one sec. FILTLFTI, Rain and Honesty, are you guys here?
Here.
Okay. Yuliana Nur Pratama Blessing, FEB are you guys here?
Yes, we are here.
Okay. FH1, Alberta, are you here?
Yes, present.
Okay. FH2, Jessica Anissa, are you guys here?
Yes, you are here.
Okay. FH3, Natalio and Chris Dayanti, are you guys here?
Yes, we are here.
Okay. FH1, Naufal and Afira, are you guys here?
Yes, we're here.
Okay. FK2, Izehaga and Ricardo, you guys here?
Here.
Okay. FK3, Shanas and Ayesha Sharif, are you guys here?
Yes, we are here.
FKG1, Advita Azalia Claris, are you guys here?
Yes, we're here.
Okay. FSRD1, Rido and Satria, are you guys here?
No, still waiting for Rido.
Okay, so please contact your partner ya. Kita ada moment of silence, mau doa bersama soalnya. FTKE1, Eric Calvin and Kenan Dika, are you guys here?
Yes, we are here.
FTSP1, Irfan and Taskia, are you guys here?
We are here.
FTSP2, Sandra and Davanur, are you guys here?
Here.
Swing 1, Vika Abraham, are you guys here? Hello, Swing 1, Vika Abraham, are you guys here? Okay, we're missing Swing 1. Swing 2, Kokoh Sultan, are you guys here? Okay, we're missing Swing 2. Okay, please stay tuned for around 2 minutes. I want to make sure that all teams are here. Sebentar ya. prayers finished. So welcome to day 2 of NUDC selection Trisakti level. Give an applause to us all. Welcome, and we wish you good luck. So we're gonna launch the draw exactly as scheduled, which is at 8:30 a.m. waktu Indonesia Barat. Please make sure you check also your Tabicat, your KDMI NUDC Heroku app website to make sure that you don't miss or you don't rename the room wrongly. So you make sure that everything's in accordance to what later you will be drawn into. So I guess we have another 4 minutes while waiting for the match up. So I will pass on to Ibu Astri later after the match up is shown. So if Ibu Astri would like to also continue the kisi-kisi team, please do. The floor is yours, Ibu. Nanti I'll be back when match up is ready. FH3, we have opening opposition FTKE1, we have closing government swing 2, we have closing opposition FH1. Is that clear for room Elang Mulia Laspana? Moving on, in room Heri Hartanto, we have opening government FILTL FTI, we have opening opposition FK3, we have closing government FTSP1, we have closing opposition FEB FTSP. Is that clear for Heri Hartanto room? Proceeding. In Hafidhin Royan room, we have FH2 as opening government. Opening opposition, we have FK1. Closing government, we have FTSP2. Closing opposition, we have swing 1. And lastly, in Hendrawan C room, we have opening government FSRD1. We have opening opposition FKG1. We have FILTL1 as closing government. And lastly, we have closing opposition FK2. So since the draw is out, please rename yourselves with the format round 4 underscore your room underscore your role underscore your team name underscore your name. For those of you the teams are placed in the same room, just use one Zoom account, that is fine, and just put another name behind the first name. So yeah,
Excuse me if I may ask.
sure.
So I've been contacting my teammate up until now, but there was still no response. So what happens now?
Okay, we give you 3 minutes until 8:35. If your teammate still does not respond, so you have to continue the debate individually, or we call it iron debating. So you'll be assuming 2 speaker roles.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, so we hope for the best for everyone. Okay, so please rename yourselves. At 8:35, I'll be stopping my share screen, and I'll pass the agenda to core adjudicator Ibu Astri at 8:35. Okay, FSRD1, we're gonna recheck one last time. Is your partner here already?
No. He's not here yet.
Okay, so you still have 1 minute, yeah, to reconfirm. So when the clock ticks 8:35, please just unmute and let me know of the
Okay.
outcome. Thank you. Oh yeah, okay. To complete the roll call, we wanna check with adjudicators. Karendi, are you here? Karendi, are you here? Next up, Kadio, are you here?
Dio's here.
Okay. Ka Jessica, are you here?
I'm here.
Okay. Kasem, are you here? Samuel, are you here? Okay, we're waiting for two judges.
Hi,
so
I'm here.
Itu siapa Kak Randy ya?
Samuel.
Oh, Sam. Okay, Sam. Okay, thank you.
Excuse me. I just want to inform you that maybe I think unfortunately my friend can make it. I couldn't
Okay.
make it.
So you'll continue, yeah, with.
It's okay.
Okay, sure. Okay, everyone, we're just waiting for one more judge, Kak Randy. Okay, he's here. Okay, so we're complete, yeah. So let's check the renames for round 4. Okay, so everyone has renamed yourselves. Okay, so I'm gonna stop my share screen. I'm gonna pass on to court adjudicator, Ibu Astri. Good luck, everyone.
Hi, hello, good morning. I think the music was giving pretty, like pretty extensive clues. If you want to guess, was it about video games? Correct. Is it about boomer video games? By the way, that is an equity violation for, like generalizing and labeling people. Be more mindful. In some, it's not funny. Okay, so the motion for round 4, under the heading that all of you guys has already guessed, it's about
Nggak
game.
kelihatan slide-nya.
Huh? Is it nggak kelihatan?
I think you're sharing the wrong window.
Hold on a second.
The current window says presenter view.
Oke. Sabar ya, Bapak-bapak dan Ibu-ibu. Hadirin yang dirahmati Allah. Thank you. Hold on. I usually check. Mohon sabar hadirin. Okay. Thank you so much. Oh, this is what I meant. Okay. Waduh. Okay. Under the heading of game, the motion reads, this is 8:39. So the debate starts at 8:55. This house believes that video games should regularly reassign random gender and race identity to player avatars. Is there any question in regards of the motion?
Yes, if I may ask.
Yes, sure.
So, in this motion, it states that this house believes that video games should regularly reassign random race identities to players. Can you please elaborate more on what it means to reassign?
I think it's actually self-explanatory, but I will help. So reassign as it number one, the whole mechanism it's up to the opening government, totally up to the creativity of opening government, but reassigning meaning that it's the video games that give you the gender and race identity, kinda, but there are also wording of regularly, and there are also wording of in the assigning. So what does then it translate into? The process happens not only once, but it is a regular process. Too much clue actually, but yeah, considering. Is there any other question? Was that clear enough?
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
Does this only applies in some like RPG video games, or as like when you play the Tetris song? Obviously, some games doesn't have genders or something, so those games aren't affected by our motion, right?
I think that's a rhetoric. So this is only applies for game with player avatar. So you already knew.
Okay.
Yes, I
Yes.
want to make sure something.
By the way, while you guys are asking question, case building time is still go on, yeah. So the debate will still start at 8:55, 8:55. Go on.
I still have time to asking you, right?
Yes. You can ask until the case building is end, but then you cannot case build.
Usually when we are doing player, we have kind of right to choose what gender we should, right? But this this motion believe that it depends on the video games application that they choose, not our not in our opinion or something like that.
Number one, I told you guys again, this is up to the opening government, the mechanism. Number two, please do note there are wording of regularly and the wording of reassign. What does this translate into? It is up to the opening government. But yeah, something in that line will happen. The video games will not give you what you want. Does that answer?
I see. Thank you,
Okay.
Miss.
You're welcome. Any other question? Going once? Going
I would
twice?
like to ask, please.
Okay.
Can I ask who determine how regular this reassignment is, and who determine who get what gender? Is it algorithm, or is it someone behind the scene that choose whose gender and race to assign?
It is the prerogative of opening government to determine. It's up to the opening government.
Am I audible?
Yes, audible.
Okay, welcome to the preliminary round 4. This is an open round. Before we start the debate, can I please have representation from each team to tell me their speaking order, starting from opening government? Oji, who will be speaking first and second? F.
Wait a minute. Since my friends, the first speaker was in hospital, I think the connection is not really good there. Wait a minute, okay? Let me tell her.
Okay. Opening opposition?
Yes, Noval would be speaking first and then Afira.
Okay, closing government?
Yes, we're here.
Who will be speaking first and second?
Davanur will be speaking first, and Sandra, will be speaking second.
Okay. Closing opposition?
Yes, we're complete.
Who will be speaking first?
Abraham will speaking first, and I will be second.
Before you start your speech, don't forget to mention your POI preferences and please respect the POI preferences from each speaker. Yeah, and also don't forget to time yourself. We will wait for Prime Minister. Please tell me if your teammate already here, Oji.
I'm here.
Yes, you can start your
Everyone.
speech.
Okay. I will set my timer first. Okay. First, I'm really sorry I can't turn on my camera because I'm still on my hospital. I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Good morning, everyone. Without us realizing it, many people who play this game judge that there is an element of racism that is so thick in it. The shooting game is very degrading to Black people. On the other hand, white people are considered the most superior. Mostly games developers were concerned about the rise in over-customization in the video game world. Now, instead of having each player choose how their own avatar would appear on screen, some games permanently assigns an avatar's gender and race to a player. In today's era, we learn to accept differences and diversity in the social environment. A racist will associate bad things and economic inequality experienced by a group with the behavior and characteristic of that group. While an anti-racist considers the problem not to be in the group, but from racial policies that make the group lose. The developer's decision to choose gender and race for players attempts to mimic how individuals move through society. No one gets to choose their social class, economic status, race, or gender, but everyone has to survive in that game. What is meant by structural racism here is the action and behaviors of racism that are already rooted in the society in various fields of life, such as social, economic, welfare, education, and law. So That's why we agree to believe that video games should regularly reassign random gender and race identity to player avatars. That's all for my speech. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Prime Minister spoke for 1 minute 38 seconds. To continue the case, please welcome Leader Opposition.
Okay, thank you. Am I audible?
Yes.
Yes, thank you. My name is Naufal. I'm from the OO, and I am the leader of opposition. And I will start my argument in 3, 2, 1. So before making my arguments, I would like to make some rebuttals. So the OG said that there is an element of racism and white supremacy. So then the motion that video games should regularly reassign random gender and race identity player and avatars. The opposition believe that video games should not regularly reassign random gender and race identity to player avatars. Why? Because it's not about the video games, it's not about the avatar is the problem, but it's the people that control the avatar is the problem. It's not the how you perceive things, but it's who is the perceiving things about this racism and this white supremacy that you guys are talking about. So then, let me rewind a little bit. So an avatar, also known as a profile picture or user pic, is a graphical representation of a user of a character or a persona. So you could be maybe I'm sorry if this offends someone, but maybe if you are white but you want to be African American, you could do like that. So and so on like that. So why we should not regularly reassign random gender and race identity to player avatar? It's video games. Okay, let me tell you again, it's video games. It's digital fantasy. You should become whatever you want, whenever it is, whatever it is, and so on. Let's say, okay, let's say there's a scenario. Let's say you're a working man, working 7 to 5, 6 days a week. In 8 p.m., you have some other jobs to make your ends meet. In Sunday, let's say you are tired. So you want to relax, right? Chill, doing stuff you want, stuff you like, that you don't want to be working for that day. You want to be maybe playing video games, right? So in these 6 days, you always want to be, let's say, you want to be a dragon for some reason, right? But the video games regularly reassign random gender and race. So for whatever reason, they reassign yourself to become a cow. How would you feel? If I am him, I would be sad, mad, and very, very disappointed. What happened when you feel sad? Your job, your social life would be go down as well. If this happened, there will be a lot. There is a lot of gamers in this whole world that if they're free to choose to become whatever they want is taken, I don't even know what will happen to the gamers industry, but by this the population and the business side of it. Maybe it's not such much a different, but these little things will affect the player's behavior in long term because of the reason that I have been explaining itself. Maybe that is from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. LO spoke for 3 minutes 35 seconds. To respond to the case, please welcome DPM. Deputy Prime Minister.
Is this my turn?
Yes.
Okay. Let me set my stopwatch speed first. Okay. Okay. Start my speed starting from begin. Okay. What I want to say that for our government perspective, we totally respect the opposite team, how they said that it will be affect the behavior of the players. We totally respect because The things about we learn from another games owner who made their games to be more racist and teach our players to more racist, and it's totally fake. And we all know that there's a lot of players under age and they didn't have an education well, they didn't have get an education enough, and they didn't get manner enough to we really scared what if that affected to people who after they playing games, especially underage children who play this game, then they will treat people in society like that, like your color is like big and you look like avatar, your eyes is really small and you like avatar. It's not like me. I had a big eyes, I'm Western, I'm become more superior. That's the thing we risk at. You know that racism structure is really certainly not easy and quick to fix it. So our government had a solution. Why don't we regularly to control that we could just the control that everyone can get a race and a gender suddenly, and it's really and we really think that it was a new thing that we should appreciate first, because the reason is it's quite challenging, when you are had an opposite gender and you play the gender of female, you could understand, this is quite challenging for me, and I will start to learn about from the woman perspective how to play this gender. It's not like we want to broke their right, we want to limit their right, as a human right, no, something like that. But we want to teach them how to not being racism. Racism is everywhere. We can see there's like Black Lives Matter these days, and how affect that to people. How the white people feel more superior. How kind of Southeast Asian feel like, I'm quite insecure with from Western people, comparing us, comparing our skin, comparing our gender, comparing our race. Is something that we're really concerned about. So first of all, I like to say it's a good way for all the avatar game trying to change the regulation. The regulation, since we're really aware about the racism and how insecure these days children, teenager, and it's a fact. You know that player games always play their game for such a long time. We all know they're definitely passionate about it was their hobby, and we're concerned about how the effect in long term, the effect that they always choose like, okay, I will choose the big one. Okay, Avatar so be in we all know that Avatar was from Asian, right? We all know, okay, Avatar should be like this, and with this, the other was this, and they should dress this like this, and skin, okay, the skin tone should be like this. We don't want to be like that. We want to teach all the people to respect all the diversity in this world. We're living in 21st century, and we all know that diversity is everywhere. We should aware, we should notice, we should admit that. It's something that beautiful. The diversity is beautiful, how much many colors can tone in this world and how much many race in this world. We should appreciate for that. And we totally respect for all your opinion about this, about just human right. We all know that people has their own control, but because there's a lot of responsibility person out there who after playing games they treat another human who had the same living, who has the same right with them, but they treat that with a bad manner, with a bad action. It's totally effect. You could see in America there's a Black Lives Matters. You could see and how a stop Asian had. It's something that we wear and our concern in 21 era. So I hope people do respect to all government regulation now. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you. Deputy Prime Minister spoke for 4 minutes 21 seconds. To close the debate and opening off, please welcome DLO.
Am I audible?
Yes, you're audible.
Okay, thank you. Before that, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Afira, and I'm the deputy leader from the opposition teams. And before I start my arguments, I would like to rebuttal some of the arguments that have been stated from the government team. First of all, again, they said it's about diversity, and then they said they want to decrease the racism especially the kids underage. Well, again, I would like to tell, we would like to tell that it's about video games. Video games is a digital fantasy where they could be anyone there, what they want, which it will relates with the advantage that I will be argued later. So about racism itself, do you think, is there any studies that says that the video games that actually will choose the random avatar will decrease the racism in this world? Do you have any studies about that? I guess you shouldn't have studies about that, because actually video games again is a digital fantasy. You could like teaching that kids, or maybe the kids underage, about racism with other methods, not with these video games. And before you speak that there will be more people who choose the white people rather than the black people, and that will produce racism. Is there any facts that in video games there are lots of white peoples that will be chosen more than the black peoples? I guess no. There are also lots of white people who wants to be black people. There in video games, it's the place where we want to do this fantasy. Again, you shouldn't like seeing this racism in these video games, because actually it's not relevant for us. And then I would and then you also say that you want every people to know how to play this gender, how to play to be a boy or maybe a girl or maybe a white people or maybe a black people. What's the advantage of we know how to play that gender? Is there any advantage of that? Well, video games, again, it's only the place where we play that games, and also we fantasies in that games. It's not like we can be that peoples in that games. We shouldn't like learning how do we treat that peoples in these video games. What's the matter? And then I would also continue to my arguments. Well, sometimes people would like to play video games because they want to relax, as my partner says, they want to relax and they want to do some fantasies in those video games. Because actually, based on the studies, video games are actually could boost up our mood. It could make affect our health and also our happiness, since these video games can change how our brains performs and even their structures of their brains. Do you know about that? And these video games affect our attentions too. And some studies also shows that actually gamers shows improvement in several types, which, for example, the social skills. Sometimes research shows that these video games actually, who played more video games, usually have good social skills, better academically, and have built better relationships with other students because of the social and collaborative components of sometimes of games. And if they would like to do these video games because they want to relax, it could actually give some benefits about the social skills. That's the first things. And when we cannot choose what do we want to be in those video games, do you think that kids would like to play these video games? I guess no. And then the second things, these video games can also increase your brain's gray matter. Do you know about that? Because actually these video games, they say that these video games is associated with the muscle control and then the memories, the perceptions, and also the spatial navigations. And then the third things, these games can also teach you to be a better problem solver by doing these games. Sometimes there are some missions that you should be accomplishing in that games, and it could improve your skills on solving a problem. And then when you couldn't choose what you want to be in that video games, I get that those kids or people who wants to play video games will be decreasing. And then this video games can also, because my friends also said it's about relax, it could actually improve your mental health, and it could give lots of benefits towards your mental health. Because as I said, it could boost your mood, and also it can make a better heart rhythms, a sign that they may also help to relieve their stress. And then it's a fun way to get tricks into learning actually by these video games. So we think that this avatar will not be, we shouldn't like thinking about this avatar. We should think about the advantage and also the benefits that we will get from these video games. So I think that's all from me. Thank you for your attention. Sorry for my mistake. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. The DLO spoke for 5 minutes 8 seconds. To continue the case, in closing side, please welcome government member.
1 second.
Can you speak louder, please?
Am I audible now?
Yes, audible.
Okay. 1 second. Okay, I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Okay, first I would like to state a rebuttal by the OO that they said that there are other ways to teach children to not be racist. DLO didn't even elaborate on what these other ways are, and they ignored the fact that in status quo with these supposed other methods, racism still exists. It is so much better to do something about it rather than just stay still and just have faith with these other methods, and as I will elaborate more later. To my arguments, the first, video games played by mostly children. Nowadays, video games contain cultures from different regions, and children can, by virtue, can learn about other regions and their cultures from the said video game. This day and age, video games actually have a big part in the development, upbringing, and education of children. And not only children, but everyone that plays the game. But children here are emphasized because they haven't had a set principle and views that it's like they are blank papers. Video games can be utilized as learning tool for them. Second, the disadvantages of not reassigning genders and races. Not reassigning random genders and races is a wasted opportunity of utilizing a video game as a learning tool. Chosen avatars can be both something that looks like the children themselves or a figure of a stereotype that children finds to be more superior in many ways, like beauty, ability, intelligence, etc. Though through what they can learn from their current culture. The third, the harm of this current culture. Current culture in the status quo, we have to admit, teaches discrimination and racism. Current ways of educating the children where it's all up to their parents and environments is obsolete. We are still not taking action against racism or whatever measures we took. None have been enough. And the fourth, why is this a good thing? The solution. Reassigning genders and race regularly at a random choice by the video game AI allows children to recognize that there are not only one race and genders. It also allows them to see that all races and genders are equally important and we are all human. By virtually forcing them to be set genders and races in the video game, they are taught to accept who their avatar are, which means they have to accept who they are, who others are, and the races and genders in existence. And then the last one, the mechanism of the solution. In games using avatars, every week the players will have their races and genders randomly picked by video game AI. Their wealth in the game will stay the same. Their resources in the game will stay the same. Their ID in the game will stay the same. And this way, all races, all genders, all the combinations will exist in the social classes or structures equally and regularly. It teaches the players that no genders or races is more superior than the other. All of them are equal. That you can go up the levels of life of games, of everything through hard work, the missions, the bargains, the friends that you have in the video game, but not the genders or races as what the way status quo and the real life status quo is about. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Government member spoke for 3 minutes 48 seconds. To continue the case, please welcome opposition member.
Okay, am I audible?
Yes.
Okay, I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Okay, we have to know the limit age to playing game online is 17 years old. Okay, now imagine 17 years old. They have an we can say that he is an adult, so he should have a mature mindset as an adult. Okay, so I would say bring a statement from the opposition, the government opposition. There's so they when we are playing game online, we want to relax. We want to be what we want to be. So we are playing to relax. We want to enjoy this game, and so we don't care about the gender and who we are. We want to express ourselves in that game. So I want to give a question. What is the necessity to know you are a girl or a man? What is the necessity of treatment by other players? There's no concern or necessity of that treatment. Even you get a worst experience, it's just for a while, uh, and the probability that you will be meet the same player that knocking you is a really small. It's really rare that you would be find the same people in the match before. So there's no concern to show gender on someone's avatars. There's a private life that we have to hide, and it will endanger the player if we show it the gender on video games. There's a tendency when people know the player is a girl, they will try to get her contact. They try to tracking, and it's danger for her privacy. In video games, like what the opening government said, we have a freedom to be whoever we want, whoever we are, to give to give our expression and make ourselves comfort to be what we want. So there's no necessity, there's no need to show who we are and what we want to do. We don't have to say the public, hey, I'm a girl, look, I am a girl, I'm a man on our avatar. It's like privacy and it's private. So on the video games, it's really danger to show who we are, especially our gender. So we don't have to show that on the public, especially in the video game or in to show we are who we are on this on that match. And then opening opposition say that we wanna make it fun. We want to playing that with a fun way. So one of fun way in the video games is become who we or who siapa yang kita mau, and trying to be another person. In video games, we want to be dragon. We want to be let's imagine what is gender of a dragon, or what is gender of a peanut, or what is gender of a we can say knife. There's no gender on that. We just show what we want or we like. Our favorite thing, our favorite stuff. So or our favorite, even our favorite person. So there's no concern to show gender on someone's avatar. There's a private life that we have to hide, and it will endanger the player. So let's take back about the we talked about the children. So we have to see the privacy and policy back. The limit age to playing games online is 17. That's so we have to know 17 years old have enough years to thinking about what people say, what people talk to us, what people ask, or what people mocking us. We can memilah-milah itu semua. So it doesn't matter because we are 17 years old. We and then it is adult years, so it doesn't matter. Our gender is not shown on our avatar. That's all my speech. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Opposition member spoke for 4 minutes 53 seconds. To close the debate in government side, please welcome government whip.
Yes, thank you. Give me a few seconds to set up my timer. Okay. I will start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Okay. Now, we very much agree with the motion. We propose the motion that video games should regularly reassign random gender and race identity to player avatars. Oh my God. I think we really need to underline the word avatars because, well, I will offer you some rebuttals first in align to that. Okay. From the opposition bench, the opening opposition, they said that people will play video games to be entertained. That's the purpose of video games. If they are forced in the video games, they said if we play video games and then we are forced to be cows, say, not humans, they will be sad. And that's the direct opposite purpose of video games. Um, I'm sorry, video games don't have just one singular purpose these days and age. I will elaborate that later in the arguments. From the still on the opposition bench, from the closing opposition, they said about us keep talking about the children. We're not really. Especially, I mean, I can only speak for the closing government. We're not, as my partner have already said in his arguments, and he said that video games played by mostly children. But of course, so much games are actually made for adults, and that makes the games, the educational purposes, the extra purposes, quote unquote extra purposes of video games are also applied to adults. I will elaborate this later in my arguments. Now, on the I forgot. Sorry, opening opposition also emphasized. They emphasized that. Basically, the opposition bench, they emphasized that it's just video games. It's just digital fantasy world. It's not really reality. It's virtual reality. No, it's not just that. Video games are an integral part of today's lives. As my partner has already said, video games contains cultures from so many different regions, from so many different styles. And this day and age, with everybody having internet connection, we can actually connect with people from said regions. So it's very educational. People that doesn't know about these cultures, this knowledge from other regions, other languages, they know. Especially on avatar-based games where you virtually meet others through their avatars. And then from the opening government, the opening government assumed that every kid and every people that play video games will just immediately act racist with the avatars. Now, in order to rebut them all, I have this speech I have to say. Racism, as the opening government have already said, actually, is being taught. It's structural racism. It's basically in our blood right now, in the civilizations. And the opposition bench, they kept saying that there are other methods and so on and so on. But these other methods that are already existing in our status quo are not good enough. Well, I mean, you can just see how much racists are there in this world today, how many acts of hate crime against race, against genders are still being acted upon today, not only in the US, a place where there are a lot of medias. You can check out, maybe you feel that in your own campus, in your own class, in your own circle of friends that you call friends. It's in our blood. So these other ways, other methods, they are obsolete, as my partner has already said. Actually, it's obsolete, and it's so much better for us to do something about it rather than just sit around and do nothing and just have faith in this obsolete method. Now, the closing government team we actually offered solution on this problem. This is admittedly a very big problem in the world. That's what differentiates us from the opening government. The opening government, they agree with the motion, and they claim the motion as the solution, which is not wrong, but they forgot to elaborate more on the mechanism and not only on the mechanism and why it's actually really very beneficial, and if not, if we don't do it, it's actually very harmful, as what my partner has already said. Now, from the opposition bench, they're just wrong. Sorry, but especially from the closing opposition, they said that it's very rare you will meet the same kinds of people in the match, and then players don't care about the avatars. They play game for the game, not the avatar. It's oh my god, there are so many kinds of video games, and there are, as I said, avatar based games, RPG games, and games like maybe if you don't know, there's a game like Your World on Facebook. Basically, you play, you have your own avatar. You can choose your own gender, you can choose your own race, you can choose your own makeup, hair, clothes, and then you meet other people and other people's avatars. So the game is actually about the avatars. So don't say avatars don't matter, and don't say video games don't matter. That's just being blatantly ignorant. And about teaching the children, adults also enjoy video games. It doesn't mean that adults are not racist. There's still a lot of adults that are racist. In fact, the adults teach the children to be racist. And it also implies, their arguments also imply that adults cannot learn from video games. Now, we have to break that. That's just illogical. And that's why we approve of this motion and we propose our own solution. And that's why the closing government team should win this round. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. To close the entire debate, please welcome opposition whip.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes.
Wait, I'll set my timer first. So, I'll start my speech in 3, 2, 1. Okay, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. So today I will give a rebuttal first, and then I will give my conclusion at the end of my speech. As the closing whip, I really disagree with the motion that video games should regularly reassign random gender and race identity to player avatar. First, I want to rebut the deputy of minister that the deputy minister mentioned about the diversity. It is precisely with the various avatar that is up to us to be what we want, and from there we can also appreciate the differences. And I am also a gamer, never mind what people show in their avatar. So I don't think it is the main obstacle that we must be questioned in playing the game. And the deputy minister has also mentioned that the minor can abuse their freedom in playing games, and I think it is part of their parental control. And moving to my arguments, I have to re-emphasize what my member of opposition said, that gender and race identity is a confidential things. When we play games, which regulation require us to disclose our personal data on social media, especially in a game portal, we will meet a lot of people, and maybe we will in a random match with people who don't know us. So this is our right to the privacy of our own life. And the second, there is no relation between game avatar and our personal life. Instead, we must distinguish between our personal life and what we share in using the internet. Therefore, we must also be wise on the internet or in playing games, because if we expose ourselves too much in game, it can lead to criminal things, such as our personal data being blamed by irresponsible person. And I, as the closing whip, suggest the government to make other policies that can still protect without exposing personal life. Maybe the government can create a system where the registration of a game requires sophistication to detect the age of game players that can be integrated with a KTP database, and of course without exposing the gamers data, so adult games can only be accessed by adults. So as a closing whip, I really object to reassign gender and race identity to player avatars. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Opposition whip spoke for 2 minutes 43 seconds. That's all for the debate. Thank you, everyone. Please wait here for like 5 till 10 minutes. So I'm going to decide on the ranking. Hi, am I audible? Can you guys hear me?
Yes, yes.
Yes. Okay. Quick roll call. Opening government. Are you here?
Yes, we are here.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yes,
Oh.
very good.
Okay. CG.
Yes, we're here.
CO.
Yes, we'll still here.
Okay, I'm going to start my OA in 3, 2, 1. I'm going to divide my OA into two parts. First of all, I'm going to identify the general assessment. Second of all, I'm going to go toward the ranking and also comparative between the ranking. So first of all, let's go first toward the general overview and also comment, right? I find that there are two important things that haven't really been deconstructed in the debate, which particularly important. Number one, there's a very lack of explanation to what regularly means and how it impacts in the debate, right? Because it's a very important variable on the motion as well. I think that it would be much more better for the analysis to include and to be able to explain more on what does the regularly would mean and how it will work and how it look like in the implementation toward the game structure. For example, in government could say that how it could also enhance your argumentation about sharing of experiences and how you would be able to have different kind of perspective. Or in opposition, you could say how it going to change the overall enjoyment due to the fact that there is no consistency of your avatar, for instances. I think that those particular identification would help to be to make your argumentation even more robust than it already has. But second, I think that also what missing in the debate is the identification and further analysis toward the problem, in which that whether the problem is particularly true or not, right? Like for instances, in the debate, most of the speaker talk about the problem of racism, in which that government, I think that the process of the construction of why the racism are necessarily created by the lack of regular shift of gender or like races, or like second of all, how is that by shifting the idea of the gender and also race, it would also help the improvement of people understanding in regard of racism. And in opposition, similarly, I think that there's an importance for you to add explanation as to why is that the correlation really wasn't exist between game and also people perception of racism, like superiority that the government mentioned. Or second of all, further analysis as well as to the other type of way to solve this if it is not within the game structure. I think that identifying that and also explaining that further will also help to increase the level of the debate at the end, right? Additional to that, I think that it's important to have a much more comprehensive analysis toward each of your argumentation, therefore also to include more comparative as well in order for your argument to seem more exclusive. I think that based on those three things, at the end of the day, the team that managed to win is that the team that can identify more the exclusive value of the idea of shifting this race and so gender, but also the team that can manage to explain further toward the process of their benefit and harm, for instances, and why those particular analysis are much more, somehow comprehensive as opposed to what the other team that exists. So based on that, I give this debate into first of all, the first ranking goes to closing government, second toward the opening opposition, third toward opening government, and unfortunately fourth goes to closing opposition for several reasons. So I'm going to compare first the fourth position, which is closing opposition, right? So at the end of the day, there's a lot of very potential argumentation from CO, which is also fairly new when you talk about the protection of privacy, the importance of maintaining people real life data, and how dangerous that is to be exposed in real life. Therefore, it's important to make sure that everyone everyone are protected while they are playing this game. Therefore, giving them the rights to be able to choose their character are very important, right? But the problem with this protection of privacy is that I find that there are two important problems. Number one, why is it reassign of gender would suddenly expose your personal data? Because the wording and also the context that was played by the entire debate as well is that you're going to be randomly reassigned, in which I don't get the correlation. Why is that the randomization from the AI would suddenly, correctly identify your particular identity? Or second of all, why is that even though it's correctly, it's the same way as you exposing to what your true data, because it doesn't necessarily confirm anything from you in real life. Second of all, I think that this is also random, in which that there's no guarantee that it might match the real life version of you, which also something that already agree subconsciously by the entire analysis from the other team. But how is it that being protected in CO as well when you choose the gender or race by yourself? I think that does everyone would have equal assessment of understanding this privacy issue or not. Therefore, it's hard for me to be able to see why the harm that you say would be that applicable toward the government team. But second of all, why is it going to be that protected on your team as well, given the fact that this is an independent and standing argumentation that are pretty different than the entire contribution that already exists in the debate, which most likely talk about the overall enjoyment, or second of all, to talk about the protection of certain racial representation, right? Therefore, it's already a little bit hard for me to see comparatively to what the other contribution, why this is more relevant, but second of all, why this is more true as opposed to what the entire other contribution that already provided. But third of all as well, I think that the entire argumentation from CO doesn't necessarily negate government concern on how the existence of racism and perspective of superiority in video game does exist. I think that at best, causing opposition try to negate by saying that it is not correlated, but it doesn't necessarily answer their concern. I think that to some certain degree, it only avoid the concern and also the BOP from government. But second of all, I think that the responses still felt fairly similar with what opening opposition already contribute, which is why it's hard for me to be able to give the credit to you in terms of response as well, as opposed to OO. That's the reason why causing opposition get fourth and not any other rank in the debate, right? So now goes to the third position, which is opening government. So OG already identified several good things. Number one, identifying the problem that there is an unequal number of race and experiences. Second of all, you identify as well how good it is for a player to be able to experience different perspective of gender, and how it also going to help them to understand better several type of perspective as well, right? But the problem with this and why you cannot get second or third is that now comparing OG with CG first as your government bench is that number one, I think that the process on why video games important and at the end of the day can be that impactful are more access in causing government, which also catalyze the benefit that OG claim, right? Because OG claimed that there would be change of perspective, but I find that there is a very lack of analysis toward why is it that going to be that impactful. And that is also the concern and question from the entire opposition, which CJ did this by explaining several things. Number one, conceptualizing of how you could be able to recognize other gender better, and how it correlates with the ability for you, for instance, to sub avatar, because you can still achieve similar goal, or you could still be able to achieve similar type of experiences with different racial avatar. This more likely to be true because they also say that the resources and skill are staying the same, which also negate at best on why people won't lost the enjoyment, because to some certain degree you don't lose anything. There's just a differences on your race and also gender. But third of all, they also identify more on why no other better alternative exists. Like for instance, this educational system is also racist, on how they also depict the idea of why then the other means of education are not necessarily that working. This also depict opening government systematical racism clearer, because OG did say that there's a systematical racism, but I don't get to what extent is that this systematical racism look like in real life and how it impacted toward the games, for instances. And I think that CG did better in explaining why other method doesn't necessarily exist than OG, which is why give them more leverage to win than opening government. But now comparing OO and also OG, this is also a very tight debate between the opening bench. I think that one of the major reasons why an OG cannot take the debate than OO is that because opening government most of the time still lack an analysis in proving why is it true that people won't be as racist the moment that you reassign the gender randomly, for instances, which is why OO can fairly negate to some degree why that there is no way that it will be able to just eradicate racism that easily. Or second, they also identify that there are other means of method that can be used, therefore it's not exclusive. I think that this is the reason as to why their new framework of speaking about the benefit of video game become more important than OG contribution, because they point out more as to why then this is more exclusive rather than prioritizing racism, because you can use other way to solve racism, like for instance as opposed to video game. And therefore they talk a lot about the benefit of prioritizing user experiences of choosing their own avatar, and there's no meaningful negation or like response come from opening government in regard of this, which is why I give this also toward opening opposition slightly rather than opening government. So now last comparative, OO and also CG, right? So why did CG get higher ranking slightly as well than opening opposition? Is that number one, I find that on the spectrum of importance, I do know that both sides of the house talk specifically about two different things. While OO talk about the personal experiences, CG talk about the idea of perspective and eradication of several type of toxic mindset by making sure that everyone can be more acceptive toward a certain differences of race inside of avatar, right? On spectrum of importance, I think that even though OO talk about the idea of benefit of this video game, but I think that on vulnerability, CG did explain more about why is it so important toward you to focus on racial and why then it's a big concern in the debate rather than like what is the harm of you losing this particular benefit. But second of all, I think that the benefit why it can only access in some cases prove better in CG as well, though OO benefit are good. But the question of why would reassigning like these gender and race, people would lose the enjoyment when all the spec are all the same, like CG say, is not particularly clear. While to that, CG did manage to explain the exclusive role of video game and why the no other mean and method access this also negate and explain why the OO claim of other method can work are not necessarily true, because how the other method is also as corrupted, in which that it's also as racist and it's also as bad, in which that sometimes even adults are the one who teach the children to be racist, for example. I think that to some certain level, it explained more to me why then it is a much more exclusive type of benefit in closing government as opposed to opening opposition in this regard, which is why CG get first rather than opening opposition. And that's all for the comparative. If you can try to ask me from the WhatsApp letter if you have any other question. But in general, I think that that's the analysis to why then each of the team get the ranking. Good luck for the breaking announcement.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Audience.
Thank you.
Is everyone here? Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Okay, so before we proceed to briefing announcement, let me do another roll call to make sure everyone's here. FILTL1, are you guys complete?
Yes, complete.
FILTL FTE, are you guys complete?
Here.
FEB FTSP, are you guys complete?
Yes, I'm here.
FEB FTSP, are you guys complete?
Yes, we're here.
Okay. FH1, are you guys here? FH1,
Bertha has a class right now.
pardon me, sorry.
Bertha has a class right now.
Oh, okay, okay. FH2, Jessica Anissa.
Yes, we are here.
FH3,
You're complete.
okay. FK1,
Yes, we are here.
okay. FK2, 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 Izehaga Ricardo. Okay, we're missing FK2. FK3, FK3, Shanas and Aisha.
Yes, we're here.
Okay. FKG1,
Complete.
FSRD1.
Here.
Okay. FTKE1,
We are complete.
FTSP1.
Here.
Okay. FTSP2.
Here.
Okay, so we're still waiting for FH1 and FK2, yeah? So let's wait for another minute.
FK2 is
One
here.
more minute.
Sorry.
Yeah. FK2, are you here?
Yes, Kak.
Okay, are you complete? Yeah.
I'll try to contact my.
Okay, please check langsung kabarin ya. Just unmute
Okay.
your microphone. Yeah. Okay. Okay, so lastly, FK2, are you here?
We're here.
Okay, so that concludes the attendance list. Now I'll pass on to core adjudicator Ibu Astri to announce the top 8 teams that will break into semifinals. Silakan, Bu Astri.
Okay, wait. First of all, being aware that most of you guys are a noob in this debate matter. So I will be explaining how then the breaking team are classified. So first of all, we classified them based on VP or victory point. In the meantime, I will going to just write the information down. What is victory point? Victory point is the assigned point given to the team based on the ranking they receive. So first rank got 3 VPs. Second rank got 2 VPs. Third rank got 1 VPs. And fourth, unfortunately, got none. But in a competition, sometimes there are several teams have similar VPs. So how then we classify them? Next, we are classify them on the basis of speaker score. So what is speaker score? So a speaker score is the accumulation of the score given toward your team. Adjudicator, upon adjudicating, they are not only deciding the winning, but we are also assigning the speaker score. So that's why, we get paid. We don't just listen and point finger to, okay, I'm going to like ngitung kancing, the winner is, no. So we actually create a calculation and basis of who get assigned the winning. We also value your speaking performance. How much score do we give to it? So the speaker score are assigned first individually, but then the adjudicator must take into consideration that the winning team, the first rank, will always have a higher rank than the second. Second has higher score than the second rank. Second rank will get higher score than the third and goes on. Now, there are also situations where the VP are similar. Speaker score are also similar. I know there are a lot of headaches. Now, how then we calculate this? We calculate this on, so the third criteria. First criteria is VP. Second criteria is speaker score. Third criteria is how many times you get first rank. So, for example, there is this one team have similar VP, similar speaker score, start headache, right? Like newt. And then thirdly, we see which one of these team get more first rank. So that's another calculation. Now, fourth criteria, another newt, similar VP, similar score, similar receiving in the first rank. How next are we going to calculate? We will going to create a standard of deviation from the scoring. What does it mean? So it means that we will see the consistency of your team in receiving speaker score. So for example, there is team A and team B with similar all those other three criteria. But team A consistently gets 78, 78, 78, 78, for example. While in team B, they sometimes get 75, later they get 80, later they get 74, and etc. So the one with higher rank is a more consistent team, which is team A will be higher than team B. Now, next question. What if all four similars? Unfortunately, what we need to do is a coin toss because there is no other calculation, right? So the last coin toss will be the fifth method for us determining the ranking. So that's a little bit of behind the scene of explanation in determining the ranking. So without any further ado, I'm not going to like keep you in the suspense any longer. Breaking announcement. Hold on a second. Okay. So breaking announcement. Thank you so much for everyone participating in this internal selection. Really appreciate the interest the interest and also the your consistency and being responsible in attending this competition. Congratulations, of course, for those breaking, but for those of you who are not only commiseration, but I really hope that there is a lesson learned that you get from this competition. I always tell myself and the kids I am coaching that if you don't learn anything from a loss, it will just be a loss and a waste of time. So make sure that even if you lost, you learn something, reap some fruit out of it. So without being said, I know I like to keep on the suspense, deg-degan, syukurin. Okay, so breaking announcement. We're going to start from the first breaking with the VP of 10, speaker score of 605. Congratulations to hybrid team, Eva, LTL, and FTI. Congratulations. Second breaking team with the VP of 10. So the VP is similar, but what differentiates is the speaker score. The speaker score is 598. Congratulations to FTSP1. Third breaking team with the VP of 8 and score of 592. Congratulations, FSRD1. Fourth breaking team with the VP of 7, score of 595. Congratulations to FKG1. Now, this is what I meant by there are another classifying. So the fifth breaking time has similar VP and similar score with FKG1, but FKG1, they get the first rank once and then get the second rank twice in comparison to the fifth breaking team with the VP of 7, similar, right? With a score of 595 is team FK2. Congratulations. But team FK2 is only ever get second rank once. So FKG gets second rank twice. Now, sixth breaking team with the VP of 7, speaker score of 592. What is language? If at FTSP2, 7 breaking team with the VP of 6, score of 587. Congratulations to another hybrid team, FAB and FTSP. Last but not least, 8 breaking team with the VP of 5, score of 592. Congratulations to LTL1. Congratulations for all the breaking team that proceed to the semi-final. Now I return to the ARCOM for any other announcement. Thank you very much, guys. Good luck.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
For those who are unable to break, but it's okay. It's not the end of the road. You can still improve in, you still have many competitions to expect, yeah, in the coming moments. So the next announcement would be break time. We'll have break time until 12:30. So if you wanna relax and maybe let's conduct a photo session, yeah, team. Okay. Can everyone please turn on your camera? We'll conduct a photo session helped by the Humas and IT teams. Okay, so let's see those faces. Yang conduct siapa? Boleh? Yang bilang. Oke, so I'll pass on to tim Humas IT ya untuk countdown fotonya.
Cek. Oke, bersiap semuanya. Kita sesi foto bersama ya. Mohon buat dinyalain kameranya. Oke, untuk slide pertama 3, 2, 1. Oke, next slide. Masuk ke slide kedua. 3, 2, 1. Oke. Akhirnya. Oke, sudah cukup. Terima kasih.
Okay, we would like to thank the IT and Humas team for helping with foto bersama. So once again, congratulations. We wish you the best of luck, and we want to make sure that you all come back to the Zoom at 12:20 ya. So kita bisa nggak telat, kita on time. So at 12:20 kita kembali lagi ke Zoom. Nanti, also please check the schedule, the live rundown schedule. There are a little change that we made for the agendas after lunch. So please do check it and make sure that you're back in Zoom on time. So thank you and see you after lunch.
If I may ask just a little bit.
Sure. Go ahead. What is your question?
I was wondering if the results are going to be updated to the team standings so that we can see if who won the first round or who won the third or fourth round.
Sure thing, we will, and we will going to announce it in the participant WhatsApp group as soon as we already release the tab so that you guys need the information specifically for the previous silent round, correct?
Yeah. Okay.